If I was dumb enough to send my kid in, it's no different than a baby commercial for diapers.
Can you answer my question? Do you think that you have the right to consent to 65-year-old men looking at your son while he's naked?
Influencers calling child protective services on each other over parenting disagreements. Is this the new online battleground? What happens when internet drama turns into real-life consequences for families? Today, we dive deep into the shocking rise of influencers weaponizing their followers to take people's kids away. The rising drama around influencers and child custody threats. The influencer world is witnessing an alarming trend where online disagreements escalate beyond social media into serious real-life confrontations. Increasingly, influencers are using their platforms to challenge parenting choices, sometimes urging followers to report others to authorities like Child Protective Services, also known as CPS. This fusion of entertainment, personal disputes, and legal threats has raised concerns about privacy, harassment, and the safety of children. Conflicts that start as heated debates can quickly spiral into campaigns aimed at gaining custody or removing children based on subjective opinions, rather than evidence of wrongdoing. This rise in confrontational behavior is shifting influencer culture, making it not just about content creation, but about wielding power over others' family lives. Who really decides? Parental rights grant guardians wide authority over their children's upbringing, including decisions on appearance, activities, and exposure to public platforms. Children, especially minors, typically lack legal consent power, meaning parents make choices on their behalf even if children disagree. This often creates tension around issues like beauty pageants or social media exposure, where critics argue children's autonomy is overlooked. The law generally upholds this parental control, provided no abuse or neglect occurs. Understanding the boundary between protecting children's welfare and respecting parental rights is complex, especially as societal views on children's consent evolve. The debate revolves around the balance between safeguarding minors and honoring a parent's legal jurisdiction. Kids' rights and parental authority. Consent, as a legal and ethical concept, primarily applies to adults with full decision-making capacity. With children, parental authority supersedes, as minors are presumed unable to fully understand consequences or make informed choices. While progressive views encourage considering children's feelings, parents retain responsibility and final say in many areas, from schooling to public exposure. This framework protects children, but can also enable questionable parental decisions without accountability. The idea that children can consent in the same way adults do often results in misunderstandings online, where child welfare concerns conflict with parental autonomy. These nuanced dynamic fuels heated debates about what rights children truly possess and how parents should exercise power responsibly. Online debates and the escalation to threats against parents. Digital platforms amplify conflicts, allowing heated exchanges about parenting to become public spectacles. Disagreements that might be private escalate quickly with audiences fueling outrage, often distorting intentions or statements. This leads to extreme actions such as threatening to report parents to CPS or doxing individuals, crossing from debate into harassment. Online mobs may trigger investigations without clear evidence, disrupting families and causing emotional harm. This trend reveals how social media can dangerously blur the line between expressing concern and weaponizing influence against others. It also highlights a growing culture where disagreement is met with punitive measures rather than constructive dialogue. When should they get involved? CPS functions as a government agency tasked with investigating credible allegations of child abuse or neglect. Intervention is justified only when there is substantial evidence threatening a child's safety or well-being. Online accusations lacking factual basis do not meet this threshold and can waste resources or unjustly target families. While CPS has authority to remove children from harmful environments, misuse of this system, especially as a tool for settling personal disputes, undermines its legitimacy. Protecting children requires careful, evidence-based assessments rather than knee-jerk reactions fueled by internet outrage or influencer pressure. The dangerous weaponization of followers. Some influencers encourage their audiences to use doxing and facial recognition technology to identify and target individuals they disagree with online.
Technically, and I'm not saying that you do this, I'm just saying technically you could keep every single dollar, never give them anything, and that would be perfectly legal.
Yeah, no, I think that more laws need to be passed and more states need to protect these kids because unfortunately, I know that probably does happen quite often. We do a brand deal, 20% goes to my manager, 7.5% goes to my attorney, 15% goes to one kid, 15% goes to the other kid. I get a percentage in one of my accounts if I was involved in that video, and then the rest goes into a business account, and then we separate it out. We have another college fund set up for the girls that actually earns interest. If I make
This weaponization of followers turns social media into a platform for harassment, invasion of privacy, and potential real-world consequences. Sharing personal information without consent exposes people to threats, stalking, or false accusations. Such tactics undermine trust and safety on digital platforms while escalating conflicts beyond words into dangerous actions. The use of technological tools to mobilize mobs against individuals marks a troubling evolution in online behavior that platforms and authorities are struggling to address effectively. The toxic culture of online outrage and calls for government intervention. The internet has fostered a toxic culture of outrage, where disagreements rapidly escalate into aggressive attacks. Social media platforms amplify outrage through quick sharing and emotional reactions, encouraging users to respond harshly rather than thoughtfully. This phenomenon often results in demands for government intervention over personal disputes that usually don't merit such involvement. When heated debates devolve into calls for authorities like CPS or law enforcement, it blurs the line between genuine concern and weaponizing state power. Online mobs, fueled by misinformation or partial understanding, pressure institutions to act without proper context, leading to unnecessary investigations or harassment. This aggressive climate discourages nuanced dialogue and fosters fear, mistrust, and polarization within communities. Examples of controversial parenting in influencer circles. Influencer communities often showcase parenting styles that attract significant public scrutiny. From sharing intimate moments of children's lives online to exposing minors to potentially exploitative content, these examples stir debate. Some influencers monetize family drama or children's milestones, sometimes crossing ethical boundaries by prioritizing engagement over privacy. Controversies also arise around controversial disciplinary methods, questionable health decisions, or public airing of family conflicts. Platforms dedicated to influencers amplify these behaviors, sometimes enabling unhealthy validation seeking. While some creators argue they promote authenticity, critics worry about the long-term effect on children's mental health and consent. Pageants, social media, and the normalization of exploitative practices. Beauty pageants involving children have long sparked debate over exploitation, but their presence on social media intensifies scrutiny. Platforms cultivate a culture where pageant content attracts millions of views and engagement, often rewarding overly sexualized or age-inappropriate presentations of children. Social media influencers sometimes promote or participate in this culture, normalizing practices that many consider harmful, such as heavy makeup and adult-like costumes on minors. The rapid sharing of such content desensitizes audiences, framing what some see as exploitative behavior as entertainment. This normalization risks undermining child welfare by blurring ethical boundaries, especially when parental consent overrides children's agency. The limits and risks of using CPS in internet disputes. Child Protective Services exist to protect children from genuine danger, but its misuse in internet disputes poses serious risks. Online conflicts often lead to baseless or exaggerated allegations against parents, wasting CPS resources and causing emotional trauma to families. Relying on CPS as a weapon to silence or punish others destroys trust in the system and can result in unwarranted investigations or family separations. This practice also trivializes the experiences of truly vulnerable children who need immediate support. Additionally, CPS interventions can be traumatic, involving investigations and possible removal from homes. The ease of filing online reports creates potential for abuse, incentivizing false claims during heated disagreements. Responsible use of CPS means reserving it for situations backed by evidence of harm, not as a tool in social media feuds or personal vendettas. Legal and ethical boundaries. Balancing child protection with parental autonomy presents a complex legal and ethical challenge. Parents have fundamental rights to raise their children according to their values, provided they do not cause harm or neglect. Laws outline boundaries where intervention becomes necessary to safeguard children from abuse or exploitation. However, these lines are often ambiguous and vary by jurisdiction, leading to disputes over what constitutes harm or inappropriate behavior. Ethically, respecting family privacy must be weighed against society's duty to protect vulnerable minors. This tension intensifies in digital contexts where parenting decisions are publicly scrutinized and widely debated. Courts and child welfare agencies must navigate this gray zone carefully, ensuring that interventions are justified, evidence-based, and respectful of family integrity. How content creators should handle sensitive topics responsibly. Content creators hold significant influence and must approach sensitive topics with care and responsibility. When discussing issues involving children, families, or controversial subjects, creators should prioritize accuracy, privacy, and empathy. This involves thorough research, avoiding sensationalism, and steering clear of personal attacks or unfounded accusations. Clear disclaimers, respectful language, and fact-checking help maintain credibility and protect individuals from harmful reactions. Creators should consider the potential impact their words may have on vulnerable parties and foster constructive conversation rather than fueling outrage. Responsible content also means understanding platform policies and legal implications, including avoiding doxing or encouraging harassment. By balancing engagement with ethical considerations, creators contribute positively to the culture around sensitive issues and build trust with their audience. Thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Has influencer drama gone too far, or is CPS intervention sometimes justified? Make sure to subscribe for more deep dives into online culture, and remember, real lives are at stake behind every screen. Stay curious, stay kind.